Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching the Today I Found Out YouTube channel, and in the video today, we're looking at the roller coaster that was designed to kill its passengers. In 2010, architect and PhD candidate at the Royal College of Art in London, Julijonas Urbonas from Lithuania, decided to attempt to design a method of euthanizing people that they might even enjoy. His solution, the euthanasia coaster, which he designed and built at a precise 1 to 500 scale. It's a roller coaster that could seat up to 24 passengers and give them a good time before ultimately killing them in a painless and euphoric way. So, how does it work? First, the coaster takes passengers up to 1,670 feet, which would make it 3.7 times taller than the current tallest roller coaster in the world, the King de Kai. Next, the passengers would plummet down the other side, reaching a maximum speed of over 200 miles per hour. Up to this point, it's been all fun for the passengers, assuming they like roller coasters, that is. If they don't like the free-fall sensation, then it's probably not going to be so much fun, and after, well, it's not going to be the best time either. You see, what comes next is that after the coaster hits the bottom, it then goes into a loop, which, at the speed the passengers would be going, it would exert about 10 Gs of force on them, enough to drain their brain of the necessary life-giving nutrients and oxygen from their blood. 6 more loops follow this first big loop, with the loops progressively getting smaller and smaller in order to maintain the 10 Gs of force throughout the loops. With the loop section designed to last 60 seconds, or without blood being able to get to the brain, the prolonged cerebral hypoxia should, according to Julijonas Urbonas, render the vast majority of the passengers dead. Of course, if any did survive, they could just run them through the roller coaster again, or as they're all likely to be passed out at that point, I guess someone could just shoot them or lop off their heads or something. They wouldn't be conscious, so they probably wouldn't mind if some less fun method was used at this point. After all the riders are dead, the bodies could then be unloaded and new passengers put aboard, and as Urbanus said, thanks to the marriage of advanced cross-disciplinary research in space medicine, mechanical engineering, material technologies, and, of course, gravity, the fatal journey is made pleasing, elegant, and meaningful. In theory, only people who wanted to be euthanized would be aboard the coaster. Further, the single long ride up to the top isn't just for needed potential energy, but also to give the passengers a chance to consider their decision for a couple of minutes as they climb. At the top, they choose to get off if they want, and in fact, according to Urbanus's own design, the coaster would not continue down until all those aboard pressed a fall button, else the coaster would just stay there. Although how they'd get down if they didn't want to die isn't clear from the picture of the design, but according to Urbanus, the rider has a few minutes to contemplate his decision and his life in retrospect. He would find enough time to adapt to the height and get through a series of imaginary fatal falls while realizing that the objects on the ground are getting smaller. The slightest movement of the car would trigger intense heart beating and goosebumps, and most importantly, it would test your decision. Therefore, the very top of the tower is an ideal place to give the very last word. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, do click like below, it helps out, and you watched all the way to the end, so you probably like this video, and you'll probably like our others as well, so do be sure to subscribe. There's a big subscribe button on the screen now, as well as links to a couple of other videos you'll probably enjoy if you enjoy this one. And I know if you're on a mobile device, you can't click on any of the things on the screen, so there will be links in the description below, and thank you for watching.